in Poitiers, France. She holds a dual master's degree in international marketing communications, marketing communication strategy, as well as a bachelor's degree from the University of the West Indies in media and communication. So I want you to make welcome this morning Ms. Keneshia Nooks as she presents strategies and tactics for customer acquisition and retention. Of course, we will take questions after the session is completed. But in the meantime, if you have questions during the presentation, you can feel free to type them into the chat. It's over to you, Ms. Nooks.
Hi, thank you so much, Sansia. You forgot to mention that we were co-workers at JBDC as well.
I'm so sorry. Yes. Yes, that was pertinent information that was left out right there. Keneshia was a critical part of the communications department at the Jamaica Business Development Corporation. She was a corporate communications manager. I don't remember the years though, so you can share that information.
Yes, you got it. All right, so I was at JBDC in 2012, I believe, and I was there for about 2.5 years. So had an awesome time there. And a matter of fact, the lessons I learned at JBDC, I basically applied to my own business, having launched my own company in 2018. So it's an exciting time, but let me just start by saying this. It is critical and it's important that while you plan, and what I'm going to be sharing here is some of the lessons I've learned personally along the way and along the journey. I'm not telling you that these are prescribed tools to help you. I'm just sharing them because I found them very useful for myself. And I learned as well and realized that in developing a business, it is awesome. You have amazing ideas, you have awesome products, but sometimes as business owners, we forget one key thing. We forget the fact that we'll need to make profit from what we do. And so we oftentimes forget that customer acquisition and retention is actually a critical component of the process. Now, as small business owners, as I said, one of the main challenges in determining how we get customers and how we retain them will determine whether or not you are successful or you remain in business. So we know that a lot of business fail in the first, I would say 3 years, Sansia. Is that what the JBDC say now? 3 to 5 years that businesses fail. But don't think that failure is the end of your journey. It just means that probably you need to dial back a little bit, look at what your processes were, and then fix them and move forward, right? It's not a deterrent to the business. Now, if you did a business plan when you were starting the business and you didn't have client acquisition and retention as part of the process, then you would have missed a key step in terms of how you're going to actually get business and get money and profit. So today's presentation, we look at basically 3 main areas. I'll give you some tips that helped me. I'll give you some client retention tactics, which is, you know, the shorter term things, activities that you need to focus on. And then I'll also give you some strategies, which are some of the more long-term things that you need to look at in terms of retaining customers. So client acquisition. Now, what you need to understand is that your clients, your customers, they are the lifeblood of your company, right? Because it means that if you have a product or a service to offer and you don't have any clients, that means you can't get money. So the business basically is, you know, malfunctioning without clients. So a steady stream of new customers allows you to grow your business and to fulfill your company vision. So the first tip in client acquisition that I would recommend is that you actually identify your ideal client. Now, This is where you look at what makes your client happy, what makes your client sad, what gives them energy, what kind of problems they're experiencing. And this is where you're going to determine, okay, this is the solution I have and I can assist my clients. What you want to ensure you do in identifying your ideal client is ensure that you narrow down your ideal client to very specific profiles. So we like to make very broad statements about our target audience, like, we want to attract every woman, or we want to attract every man. You can't attract every man and attract every woman. It's not possible. So very few products appeal to everybody and their taste. So you have to ensure that you are very specific in identifying who you want as your client. So you need to say, okay, I'm targeting women, but they need to be between a certain age group. They need to have a certain type of appeal socially. They need to like some things. So they need to if you have, for example, hair products, you need to ensure that, okay, you're appealing to somebody that have processed hair, or you're appealing to somebody that has natural hair. So you want to be very specific and avoid using very broad terms to categorize your ideal target clients. So after you've identified your clients, you want to ensure that you know exactly where they're hanging out, you know exactly where they're consuming their information daily. So you need to look at, whether they're hanging out on social media a lot, whether they're outdoors a lot, whether they're going to restaurants a lot. You need to know where they're hanging out, because that is where you're going to find opportunities to engage with them, potentially form some kind of relationship, and then close the deal by, offering them a service or a product or whatever it is you have as part of your portfolio. So you want to ensure that once you identify your client profile and your customer profile, then the next step is to know where they're hanging out. After you've done that, I know, okay, and this one is the obvious, but to be quite honest, we miss it because we have an awesome product, we have an awesome service, and we put so much time in creating the product and what it looks like that we forget to actually say, all right, then let me actually learn this inside out, so that when I'm explaining it to others, they can understand and they can feel the passion about it as much as you are passionate about it. No, you have to know your product inside out. You have to know your business inside out. Because when you know your business and you understand your industry, then you'll be in a position to see the need for a potential client and basically offer a solution for the problem they're having. So for example, I'm a marketer, I'm a publicist, I'm a PR person. And I'll probably go to a particular event and I'll meet someone and they'll say to me, boy, Keneshia, I've had this amazing idea for such a long time and I want to find a way to get it out there, and I just don't know how. And I say, oh, well, that's amazing. Okay, tell me a little bit more about your product. Tell me a little bit more about this idea or whatever it is that you're trying to launch. And then immediately you're able, we do it all the time, immediately you're able to say, oh, I can provide the solution, or, I can do this, or, oh, maybe you should probably do a blog, or, post it on your website, or create a website, if they don't have one already. So you need to know your business inside out, so that in the event you meet someone or you engage people in an audience, you're able to identify what their problem is and to basically use the solutions that you have as part of your business to solve their problem. So importantly, you want to know your business inside out. You want to understand the industry that you're working in and have a firm knowledge of the product or service, because this is going to be critical in how you attract new clients. Now, the next thing I kind of learned is that, and this is kind of cliche as well, we know that as business owners or, entrepreneurs, hopefully you know this, whatever you're creating and whatever idea you have, you need to ensure that it's solving a problem, right? Because that is how you actually remain relevant, and that is actually how you will sustain yourself from year to year. So ask yourself, do an audit and say to yourself, am I actually solving a problem? If you are not the answer to a problem, then you're going to have issues trying to get clients. Because if there's no real need that you are addressing, then are you alone like your product? Are you alone like your service? And you're not going to make no money. So ensure that you're actually an answer to a problem. And that is where you provide value and you establish yourself as having in-depth understanding of the problems you're looking to solve. Right? Now, when you can be and position yourself as the answer, what you're actually doing is saying, I'm in a position to fulfill your need. I'm in a position to fix your business. I'm in a position to be a solution for you. And this can take the form of anything. You can create opportunities for persons to learn from what you're doing. You can create webinars such as these. You can create a blog post where you're telling somebody how to fix their problem. So position yourself as the answer and ensure that your business is actually solving a real problem. Now, as a marketer, it would be remiss of me to not mention a few things that you need to do online or offline maybe, but online in this particular case. Another tip is using direct response marketing. So this is where you are creating ads or messages that attract your ideal clients and you're telling them to do something. I don't know if you've heard the term call to action before. So whatever you're putting out there and whatever you're feeding your community with, you need to ensure that you have a response from them when you put it out there. So that's a call to action, or in this case, we're referring to what is called direct response marketing tactic. So if, for example, you create a message, you want to say, all right, then if you do this, you get this. And that is where now you'll understand the great need for your product or your service. And that is where you understand whether or not there's actually a demand for your product. So this is a quick way to do surveys, a quick way to understand who your clients are, to understand their profiles and their habits and that kind of thing. So creating, you can do some more research on it, or we can, I can send you some resource tools. But try to create, especially online, and especially because a lot of persons are going online now, use direct response marketing to actually attract clients to your company and your service. The next thing, which I found very useful as a startup, is building partnerships. Now, you're an expert at your particular area. You're an expert in your field or your industry, but sometimes your field or the industry that you're in, it benefits from complementary services. So for example, as a marketer, as a publicist, we plan a lot of events. Now, while our core is marketing, PR, and digital marketing, we do offer event planning and event execution services. So what is important is that we find a supplier or a partner who does event planning very well, or they have equipment or tools, because we don't have equipment. We don't have like decor pieces or anything like that, but we do conceptualize events. And what we do is partner with other companies, like event companies, to actually do the execution. So we'll come up with ideas, and we said, this is what it should look like. This is what you should have here or there. But then to actually execute, we partner with another agency to do the execution. And they're experts in their own right. So building partnerships, especially as a startup, is important in terms of getting customers as well. When all is said and done, nurturing relationships either with business owners or with customers helps you create a client base. So you're either going to create a client base of potential suppliers, which they can also be clients, or you're going to be creating a database for potential customers. But the important thing is that you focus on building human relationships. The stronger your relationships are, the more likely your customers will be to tell their friends or make referrals to others about what you do, right? And let me just share one thing with you. When I initially started or made it official that I was going to do this thing, start one group, one of the things that kind of prompted me to say, all right, then you really need to do this, is the fact that a lot of persons would call and say, hey, I spoke to this person and they told me that you did this. Can you help me? I got a lot of that prior to starting the company. And I got a lot of referrals, people saying, oh, she does this, and oh, she can do this, or oh, she can help you. She helped me with this. And so my startup clients didn't come from me doing any direct marketing push. It came from referrals that I had engaged in prior exchanges while I was working, because I was doing it on the side, like everybody else would do it on the side before we actually push out. But I got referrals. They said, oh, she does PR, or oh, she does marketing, or she may be able to help you with building a website or doing setting up your social media. So the relationships that you have to ensure that you treat them well. Treat them like a real relationship, whether a man and woman relationship or a relationship with your family or friends or whatever it is. You nurture it, you care for it, and you make sure that they feel loved in the relationship so that they can talk about you and others will learn about you. And that will also give you an organic funnel for clients. So that is very important. And also it's important for gaining loyal clients as well. Because if you did a good job, chances are they're going to come back again and again and again and again. So you want to ensure that you build partnerships. Either you team up with businesses that offer complementary services, and that will ensure that you are very effective in building your business going forward. And hear this now. We would have put in all the work. We do one whole heap of weeks of cold calling. We have one whole heap of list, whole heap of database where we go through, we score them, we make calls, we create whole heap of posts on social media, we do all kind of something. And then sometimes we forget this very thing. We forget to follow up. You understand? The client will say, oh, hey, I saw this, I'm interested, send me a quote. We send them the quote. And after we send them the quote, we go silent. We not call to follow up if the quote was all right. We not call to follow up if we can do something different. Or we not call to follow up if the price was fine or whatever. How are you going to close? All right, so you have to ensure that follow-up, as simple as it sounds, is a part of your process as well, right? So I've given you some tips, and those are tips that I believe helped me on my journey and the process. But now, and those are acquisition tips. Those are some tips to help you on how you gain clients and gain a customer base. What I'm going to walk you through is now some tactics, some client retention tactics, and this is now going across to retain the customers once you have them. So yes, you did everything to gain the customer, to get them and to acquire them and to nurture them and this, that. We want them to remain. We want them to be clients forever. So I'm going to now share a few tactics, and then I'll move into some strategies on how you can retain clients. So in order to build a successful retention marketing program, you must rethink how your company prioritizes its marketing efforts, right? You have to shift focus from acquisition to retention, right? You can't always just acquire clients. So you're not service well if you're not trying to retain your customers as well. So we get so caught up in, oh, new business. And to be quite honest, as small business owners, the quality kind of dwindles when you have 100 clients and you just you not service them really well. You know, find out or follow up if they need additional service or if you can offer them something else on top of what they got already, right? So whether it's a product, can you add can you add value to what you gave them? Can you offer another extension of the brand to them? If it's a service, yes, you did this service. Is there something else you can do to support that service? So you want to ensure that you include as part of your process as well in growing processes to retain the clients that you currently have. So the first thing you want to look at is how you develop official systems for client communications. And whether it's a CRM system or whether it's a working Excel document that you tell yourself that you contacted this client, and you have a column that speaks about the progress of that communication and where you are, whatever it is that you need to do to basically journal the process for this particular client. You need to ensure that you develop an official system. This will allow you to track and monitor and communicate with customers using an automated platform. As I said, it doesn't have to be as official as a CRM system, even though it's good. I don't use CRM systems. I have my own platforms that I use to communicate, but you want to ensure that you have a consistent, sustained system that helps you to communicate with the client. I know there's a company here in Jamaica called CRMetry. They offer different solutions for small and large companies. So you can look at them. I think their website is I'll type it in later, crmetry.com. It's a local company, but they offer like Salesforce tools to help you position your business and help you monitor and have consistent platforms to communicate with your customers. So it's important. The next thing is that you want to prioritize around retention rather than acquisition. So as I said before, you don't want to spend all your time just doing cold calls and just trying to get clients in. You have to at some point say, okay, I'm going to stop now and I'm going to service the clients I currently have, because chances are I can get more out of them, right? And that will, the stress of just trying to get new clients. You have existing clients. You can sit now and say, all right, then what else can I give to this particular client? Spend the time to do it. Call and say, hey, how was that thing working for you? Can I assist you with anything else? Is there more we can give you? Is there more value we can add to what you currently have? So spend the time, prioritize around retention rather than acquisition. It's important, right? And what you want to do is to add tactics from the list that I'm going to also mention below, and let your team know that they should focus on completing these tasks first before they move on to getting more clients, right? So as much time as you spend trying to get the clients is as much time you should take in terms of retaining the clients. So if you had a budget in place for getting clients, whether it is to make phone calls or to prepare communications or advertising programs or whatever it is, you would have invested something, whether time or money or something, you would have invested something in trying to get the client. You should spend just as much time to keeping the client, to retaining the client. So you should put a budget in place for how you're going to retain the clients. It can be anything from sending gifts or sending communication or just creating an event or something to ensure that you keep in contact, you're always engaging with the clients. And as I said, there is a value to it, whether it's monetary or just your time, it costs something. So you want to ensure that you budget for that retaining program. And then, boy, we live in Jamaica, right? And customer service is not, or in some cases, not all, is not our best thing. But as small business owners, it is even more important for you to ensure that you focus on service. Now, true or false, people will always remember the experience they had with you. That's true, right? They'll always remember whether you gave them a good experience or you gave them a bad experience. If you gave them a good experience with your service and what you do, then that would have been a plus for you, because it means that you'd have gained a customer, potentially a loyal customer who's with you for a very long time. If they had a bad experience with you, they'll also never forget. In either scenarios, you're going to get somebody either talking good about you or talking bad about you. So you want to ensure that you focus on service, right? It's all about experience. Customers will always remember the value they experienced, right, with you. So you want to spend some time in customer service. And now let me also say this because we miss it. We will know it because we are the CEOs, or we are the business owners. So we will know and understand the importance of customer service. But guess what? If you don't relay that same information to your team, you can potentially lose clients. And I'll give you a real example. I was working on a project recently, and I would call myself the chief customer service officer for one group, right? And as I said to you, I gained clients from other clients. Most of my clients came through referrals. Like I would say maybe about 90% of my clients came through referrals. The other 10%, I probably had to work for them. So most of the people who would have referred me to someone else, they would have had a good experience with me. So I understand the importance of just maintaining a good relationship. Now, when it came to having my team understand that, remember, they're skilled people, excellent, doing great work. But when a client complains, and you're not going to please every client, and it's just the truth. Not all clients will be happy with your service. Not all clients will be happy with the experience they had with you. But it is your duty to ensure that the experience, the last thing you've left with them, is a positive experience. Either if they had a bad experience, you want to ensure that you fix it. You close the gap where that is concerned. Fix it and ensure that the last thing they felt from you was that at least you tried to make it better, or at least one group, or at least your company, whatever it is, company A or company B, at least they made an attempt to fix it, and I'm comforted by that. So you have to ensure that if your team is not there yet in terms of understanding that customer service or the experience is important, then stop everything we are doing and take the time to teach them. If they're still not there and they're not ready, if you're the chief customer service rep for your company, you continue to do that interface with the clients, because otherwise you lose the business. If, for example, you're the business owner and that's not your forte, that's not your thing, you're more a behind the scenes person, or you prefer not to be face to face with the clients, then find somebody else who does it and who does it well, right? Because that is how you're going to be able to get profits and to sustain your business, believe it or not. As I said, experience is everything. If people don't feel they had a good experience with you, they're not coming back. If they felt like the experience they had with you was a bad experience, they now come back, and guess what? They now will keep their mouth shut. They're not going to talk about it. So you need to understand, or you need to determine how important that is to you. Either you want to leave your customers or your clients with a good impression of you, or you want to leave them with a bad impression of you. Either way, it is going to either be positive or negative for your business. So focus on service, 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 and make a note if you're writing. It's all about experience. And think about yourself as a customer. As a client, you're a customer anywhere you go. You go supermarket, so you have one customer there. You go restaurant, you go hairdresser, you go nail shop, you go barber, you go everywhere. So you're a customer. And it's important for you that you get good service. So why you feel that as a business owner now, people don't want to feel good about the experience they have with you. So it's important that you focus on service. And while you know it, you need to ensure that your team is also on board, because it almost cost me a client, and a very important one. So you have to make sure that you fix that. So those were some tactics. There were 4 of them, and I'll summarize later. These are now strategies. And as I said before, the strategies are the more long-term things that you need to basically embed in your overall marketing and communications program for your company, right? So the first one is that you need to ensure that frequent communications is a part of your process, long-term, right? So either you have monthly newsletters that you're communicating, or you have a platform. As I said, for me, I have a platform. I use Slack to communicate with my clients. And that is where, you know, we post things, we ask for feedback, we always continuously having our communications there. Emails work as well. For some clients is WhatsApp. So it just depends on the relationship as well. WhatsApp work for some clients, WhatsApp don't work for some clients, right? If they're more serious or whatever it is, or you need to ensure that you can manage the communications, you use a more formal approach like email to communicate with the client. But at every cost, ensure that you are embedding communications and frequent communications with your customers, and that is how you help to retain them. As I said, the customer relationship is like a relationship that you'd have with a spouse or family or friends or whatever it is. You have to nurture it. You have to, you cannot communicate with people like and things say you go all right or you gonna make money, say no, you can't do that. So you have to make sure say you're constantly communicating, finding out how they feel, what the experience is like, how can you improve, was it bad, was it good, how can you understand? You have to ensure that you're always communicating with your customers and to keep that as part of your long-term strategy as well. If it's Christmas time, ensure that you have cards, Christmas cards or a gift or whatever it is, personalize it as the needs be. So, but to ensure that it is in your long-term strategy and it's a part of your budget, so people expect it from you from year to year. Interact on social media. Don't think that social media is just about pushing your messages about your products and your service and what you're doing and this, that. It's not just about that. Ensure that you engage with your clients as well. If they made a comment about your product, ensure that you comment as well. You like it, you share it, you thank them, all of that. Interact on social media just like you'd interact with your friends. Don't make it feel, you know, too off. I feel like COVID has also taught us some new ways of how we can communicate with our clients. And we understand now that it's quite possible to have a very long distance relationship and it can still work. You still feel engaged, you still feel loved. So just use the platforms and the different channels that you have, use them wisely. And don't spam the people in, like don't spam them. You understand? Just use it responsibly and ensure that you always have it as part of your long-term planning, interacting on social media. And the next strategy for retention is turning complaints into opportunities. Now, I put this here because, again, I mentioned that I had a client who I almost lost because of a communication with one of my team members, but it was a constant complaint from the client. Client was always complaining that this, that, and not being happy about some things. Use the opportunity to resolve the problem fully and thank them with additional services. You understand? And what that means is that what you're trying to do is to ensure that you can retain this client. And as I say, it's all about the experience. If the client feels as if they've had a good experience with you, they'll continue. And even if they had a bad experience, but at the end of the day, they still feel positive about the relationship, then that's still a good thing. That's a client that you can retain and you can also make additional revenue from, right? So use opportunities for complaint wisely. Don't just see them as, oh, client just miserable, or them just, yeah, then just, you can't please them, then just too extra, or whatever it is. Just use it as an opportunity and do not ignore them. If they're complaining, they're genuinely having a problem, right? And you need to stop and say, okay, this client is genuinely having a problem. I need to fix it. Have a one-on-one with them, find out what is going on and try to fix it as much as possible. Close that gap because as I said, keep at top of mind that experience is everything. Now, in retaining your clients, I mean, this is one that I researched and I saw, I mean, we do it all the time, is just creating frequent shopper or customer loyalty programs. You know, once you keep a customer happy, they feel that they can get freebies from you, they feel like they can, you know, get samples or whatever it is, or they feel like if they purchase something, they'll get points for future purchases, then, you know, you can consistently have that client. So find ways to start frequent shopper or customer loyalty programs, and this will help now to retain some of your clients. Make rewards easy to obtain as well, and make them friendly to redeem. You don't want to make it too hard, like I'm going to do a 20 question survey. Like nobody have time to fill out one 20 question survey. Don't do it, not right. So you want to ensure that, make it easy, make them just answer a question or something. You think about it, but don't make it too difficult where them feel like them for work too hard for you. Them already spend money with you. Don't make it hard to give them something free, Be kind to your customers and clients. And then the final thing I have to say in relation to long-term strategy for retention is hosting events. And as I said, COVID kind of just shows that whether we're online or offline, we can do some things and do it really well and we still feel engaged. So I'm proposing hosting an event. Whether you're an online business or an offline business, consider hosting an event to keep existing customers engaged and in the loop. So if you have new things coming up, if you're going to unveil a new product, or if you have some suggestions on how to make life better with a product or whatever it is. If you want to have something more festive, a party or whatever it is, ensure that you put it in your budget, host an event or something to ensure that your clients feel like they're a part of your family and they feel like they're a part of the growth of your business as well. So even as small business owners, and it's not something I've done yet, but it is definitely something I plan to do going forward, to just have those one-on-one engagement sessions with my customers to ensure that, they feel inclusive and part of my growth as well. So basically that's it. The key takeaways, and you can make a note. Just remember that a steady stream of new customers allows you to grow your business and fulfill your company vision. So client acquisition must be a part of your process, must be a part of your planning. If you're not getting a steady stream of new customers or retaining existing customers, your business is not going to survive. Chances are it's not going to survive for very long. If you don't have clients to bring in revenue, the business can't stand firm. So a steady stream of new customers allows you to grow, so you need to include it as part of your planning. Customer acquisition and customer retention have to keep it as part of your planning. Remember, you have to know your clients as well, know who they are. Narrow down the focus of your ideal client and avoid making broad target market statements, such as every woman, every man, and all baby boomers. You cannot please everybody, right? So create a profile for your potential customers and ensure that you try to target them. It's easier and it's cheaper for you as well. Trying to market to everybody is usually more expensive than just identifying who your particular clients are and just targeting your strategies to those persons. You spend less time trying to convince them, and you also spend less money in getting their attention. So narrow down the focus of your ideal client and ensure that you stick to it. Maybe as you grow as well, your client base will also increase. So ensure that you monitor your business itself and the product offerings that you have. And while your business grows and your offerings expand as well, you want to ensure that you expand your client profile as well. After all your efforts to bring in the business, always remember to close the loop and follow up. Follow up is very, very important. Imagine you doing all that work and you don't follow up to close the deal. What's the sense? So you want to make sure that in all your planning, in all you're doing, ensure that you have follow up as an activity, and do not take it for granted that you will remember to follow up. So if you need to schedule it in your diary, if you need to set a reminder on your phone, do what you need to do, but schedule follow-up as part of your process as well. And then number 4 is continue to add new ideas to your retention strategy. What I said here today is just some of my experiences and doing research to find out what else kind of works. But it may be different for you. It may be different depending on your product or the service that you're offering. So you want to ensure that you find what works best for you, you monitor what works, you measure the results, and you keep improving as you go along. And just don't settle. Don't settle for where you are in terms of getting your customers. Always find opportunities to expand and grow. And in just summarizing, I gave you 7 tips, very simple. Identify your client, discover where your customers hang out, know where they're hanging out so that you can meet them. Know your business inside out. True. If you don't know your business, you can't sell it. People are not going to feel it because it will come through whether you know what you're doing or not, it will come through. Like, you stutter, people, they're not going to know. So know your business inside out. And be able and willing to talk about it in at least 30 seconds. It's just like an ad on radio, right? 30 seconds, you get everything in 30 seconds. Do the same while you're talking about who you are and what you do. Be the answer to a problem. Do the audit now. If you are planning to start a business, if you are already in a business and you're wondering why you're not getting any clients or customers, sit down, do an audit of whether or not you are solving a problem. Chances are you're not solving a problem if you're not getting any progress, right? People don't see the need for your product, or maybe the competition is way too high and there's not great enough demand to do it, or maybe there's a monopoly on that particular product and it's hard for you to get in. So you have to change your strategy or find something else to add value to it so that people will find it as a problem, a solution to their problem. So you want to ensure that you be the answer to the problem. Use direct response marketing, and this is basically just creating messages that will cause people to do something. So you want them to redeem a prize, or you want them to go to a store and purchase something. It's a direct response marketing program where you're getting them to engage with who you are and getting them to do something and to potentially close a sale. Build partnerships. It's important, even as small owners, that we build partnerships with other businesses, because that can also help us to make our business be of more value, but also it ensures that you can complement the services, your services with other services, and help you to build and grow your client base. Follow up. I've said that a million times, and follow up. Don't forget to follow up. It's important. Client retention tactics. As I said again, these are the day-to-day things, the short-term things that you should always just have. You know, creating an official system to communicate with your clients, prioritizing around retention rather than acquisition. So a time going come when you're doing a lot of acquisition. Sometimes you need to stop and say, all right, let me try to maintain these clients and see if I can get more out of them. Potentially, the opportunity exists for you to earn more out of the existing clients, and it is sometimes more difficult for you to get new clients rather than just trying to service the clients that you have and add more value to what they already know. Focus on service. This is just as important as follow-up. Service, customer service. Remember, when you think about service, think about experience. Think about how you feel when you go somewhere to get something done, and think about how you want to leave the situation feeling. Service is completely important, and remember, it's not just important for you to understand service, it's also important for your team to understand the importance of great customer service, right? Because people will always remember how you made them feel, whether it's a good experience or a bad experience. And finally, these are the strategies, the more long-term things that you need to have as part of your plan. Send frequent communications, and you realize communications came twice. You have a system as your short-term, but make sure that you include it as part of your long-term plan, right? You have the system, whether a CRM system or whether it's a more manual system, whatever it is you do, have the system, but ensure that the system is also activated, right? You have the frequent communications, because sometimes we have the plan and we have the systems, but we're not doing it. So we need to actually have an implementation plan as well, not just the plan itself, but a plan to execute. Interact on social media, use it wisely, use it responsibly, use it to engage, not just to share information, use it to log up your clients, use it responsibly, as I said, don't spam them. And I should mention, In terms of the social media, and I mentioned earlier about the newsletters, there's a law in place that you can't just send random messages to people and their emails. You know, they can blacklist you for that. So ensure that you always have some kind of opt-in or opt-out when you send those communications, right? Give people an opportunity to either receive it or not, right? Don't feel like you can just always spam them. And when them say to you, then don't want to be a part of it, don't continue to talk to them. Don't continue engaging, they don't want to talk to you. So just be careful don't annoy them, you know, be responsible with how you communicate with them. Turn complaints into opportunities to grow, opportunities to find new services, opportunities to add value, opportunities to give, you know, turn complaints into opportunities. It's important because, as I said before, you're not going to be able to please every single client. You will have clients that are not happy with the service that they receive, or they don't feel like you are giving them what they want, and don't feel bad about it, right? It's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to grow. Don't feel too bad on yourself. Don't let go not go disappear on the earth. Like, it's okay. You know, you're not going to be able to please everybody, right? You can please some, and the few that you get to please and they're happy with it, try to retain them. But the ones that complain, use it as an opportunity to either do better or to, you know, leave them with a good experience. Start a frequent shopper program or a customer loyalty program. We know how important that is in terms of retaining business. So find ways to include that. And then finally, hosting an event. Whether online or offline, we know that you can engage your customers and keep them in the loop with what is happening about you. So those are the tips. If you want more information about who we are and what we do, you can visit our website at www.onegroupja.com, or you can feel free to send me a WhatsApp message on this number or an email to this address. And that's it. Do you have any questions for me?
Fabulous, Keneshia. That was a very practical, in-depth. Those are tips that I'm sure our MSMEs can adapt like right now.
Easy.
I've heard like about maybe a dozen of the tips that you have given that if I were in business, I would adapt right now. But I know that you reiterated quite a number of them. In fact, you reiterated all of them, but I wanted to just go back to the one about knowing who your client is and ensuring that your business is providing a solution to a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And that is usually, you know, somewhere that a lot of businesses fall down. They don't know who their ideal customer is. And it's very, very important when you are starting business to know exactly who you're going to sell to. Who is the person? What they're calling it now is a customer avatar. So basically that you basically know what the person look like, what age they are, where they shop, where they work, how many children they have, that kind of thing. And if you're able to get it down to a T like that, then you'll be better able to service the client. You know, so I just wanted to reiterate that point that you made. I'm not seeing any questions in the chat room at the moment. Is there anyone that has any questions that you'd like to direct to Keneshia at this time? All right, it looks like you were as clear as mud. I just want to thank you again, Keneshia, for that presentation. It was a very clear, practical presentation, and maybe that's why you don't have any questions. You're muted again, Keneshia.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Right. All right, so I see a question came in from Tracy Edwards. It is easier when you offer a product, but when your product is a service, how do you handle that aspect? That's a very good question.
How do you handle
that when your product is a service? How do you handle it? In terms of, of identifying your customer and targeting that customer for the service that you're providing. And she says she's in the environmental field.
Okay, so in terms of services, for me personally, I know that I offer marketing. All right, so first of all, you need to know that, all right, these are the solutions I provide, right? And that will help you know to quickly say, all right, who can I target? So for me, my core business services are, I group them into 5 main areas, right? Marketing, public relations, digital marketing, events, and media production, right? So these 5 services, I know that a lot of corporate companies would want to have them, right? I also know that as a publicist, public figures would be interested in, you know, improving their profile or improving their brand and potentially want to create profiles for themselves. So once you can identify your core business, your core services, and you can say, all right, then these are the services I offer, then it will be easy for you to categorize your client group and say, all right, then public sector. And if you scan, you have to do research, guys. You have to do research about your clients, your potential clients as well. You have to know that if you're going to target JBDC to offer your service, I'm a marketer, you have to know that them actually need marketing service. Why you gonna target them if they don't need marketing, right? So you want to ensure that you categorize your clients in terms of your various product offerings as well. So I've done that. I know that in terms of events, I'm going to be targeting John Brown, Jane Doe, all of that, right? So you sit down and do a mapping, like literally, don't just think by chance, like this is, oh, potentially maybe they like it or not. Sit down and map it out, right? I sat down and I basically did a grid and I said, okay, under marketing, I know private sector companies who have these types of products would be interested in creating that. So that now bring me down to a set of consumer product companies, right? We have a lot of them in Jamaica, right? Then I know that there are a couple government agencies who they do communications all the time and they're creating content all the time and they could potentially need my service. So I sat down and I went through all that list and I did the research. Like, do not take it for granted that, oh, you potentially got to do a list. We have maybe about 20 or 30 database, right, with potential clients, right? And you map it out based on the offerings that you have or the services that you provide. So you say service 1, I'm going to target this person. Service 2, I'm going to target this person. Service 3, I'm going to target this person. And as I say, make it very specific. So if it means that you need to boil it down to Grace Kennedy, mackerel, do that. If it is that, oh, I want to target public figures, but the public figures, I'm very particular. So for me, I do PR for artists, but the artists that I target are gospel artists. So I know already if a dancehall artist come to me and say, oh, I hear that you do a really good job, I know, I mean, like some people probably wouldn't turn down work, but it's just not my market. I'm building up my clientele in this particular field, right? So now your referral in this industry would be way more, right? Because you've done a lot of work with that particular group and they keep referring you to the same people. So what you want to do is ensure that you're very focused on who you target and it will work for you. It will definitely work for you. I don't know if that answers your question.
All right, Tracy, I hope that, yes, she said it does. Okay. All right, Kevar Telfa, I render service to gospel musicians, Christian play skit writer, poetic writers, etc. in terms of partnership. I've been trying to partner with this government agency, seeing they are in the same field. However, so far, I guess there has been no results. What is your advice for me to get this partnership?
Well, I would first have to understand your strategy, because how are you trying to reach them? What does your presentation look like? How are you approaching them? Who are you approaching? I need to have answers to all those questions, because if you're not doing the right things, you're not going to get the right results. So for me, if I'm trying to target a potential partner, or like you have to put yourself in the position, so either you meet them or meet the right person who is a decision maker. It can't be that you call every single day and you talk to receptionist, and because you talk to the receptionist and you're not go to the right person, then you're not gonna get nothing there. Release. Find out who is the decision maker. Find a way to get to the decision maker, right? I know cold calling is a tactic that we use, yes, but sometimes it means, I remember while being in government, I had young entrepreneurs who wanted to do services for the company I was working with, and they just popped by. And can I tell you, as a little annoyed, don't do that. Don't try it if you're not brave enough. As a little annoyed, but when I sat with the person, like I was willing to listen to them. So they popped up, just them confidence alone, just message, yeah, you're really bold, like either you take bus or you take car and gas and come, but you're really bold. And I sat and I listened, right? They got my attention just with their approach. So remember as well that we're human beings, right? We're humans and we respond to things normally. So there is people that you're targeting. So find ways to engage them, find ways to get their attention, but just definitely look at the strategy that you're using. And if you're using that strategy for how much months or how much years and it's not working, it means it's time to change it. It's not working, so try something else.
All right, I see Andrea Johnson's hand is up. Andrea, I'm going to unmute your mic and you go ahead and ask your question. Andrea, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, go ahead with your question.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, Keneshia, for that presentation. It's really a comment I wanted to make, not a question. I thought about it because I've worked in customer service before, but what I realize is even in acquiring your customers, I think one of the important things is to ensure that, because not everybody you're going to be able to keep, but to ensure that your customers that you have acquired in your engagement, they understand that if things are not working, they must feel free to be able to communicate with you about that, because otherwise they will sometimes leave and they don't even say bad things, they just don't come back. And you have lost a customer, they've gone somewhere else and you haven't even realized.
So Andrea, that is why I was saying it's important to communicate with your clients as part of your retention strategy, your long-term retention strategy, because you call those persons, like in my term, I'd call them passive aggressive. They're angry with you, but they're not saying, but their action suggests that they weren't happy, so they didn't come back. But if you were following up, or if you were in communication with them, perhaps they would have said, you know, so I'm never really happy about that, and I didn't like this experience, and I just decided not to come back. So you have to ensure that you put it as part of your process to communicate with them. If it's even a phone call, scheduled once per month or once per week or whatever it is, depending on the nature of your business and depending on the service or the product that you have. But ensure that you communicate as often as you can and without it being annoying, but ensure that you communicate to understand how people feel, if they feel good or if they feel bad, right? Because again, as you rightly said, some customers you just won't be able to retain, but you also want to find out from them if the experience was bad or good. So communicate. And as I said, it's just like a relationship. Don't feel like you have to wait on them to come to you, right? If you want to retain the client. So it is your job to actually reach out to them and to find out whether or not they were happy, or say, you know, I noticed that you didn't come back this month, or I realized that you didn't decide to continue the service. What was your experience like? Can you share that with me so I can improve going forward? You know, and just, I mean, even though you know that it won't mend the relationship or cause them to come back to you, you're really going to use that as an opportunity to improve, right? You're going to say, okay, well, that was important for me to know. Maybe I can, even if I don't see you back as a customer, I'll definitely see it as an opportunity to improve going forward. So find out from them and don't be afraid to reach out, right? If you're afraid to reach out to find out how people feel about your product, that means you're not confident enough about your product itself. So ensure that you are open and willing to the idea of communicating and finding out how customers feel about you.
All right, thank you very much, Andrea. Another question from Nisha. Greg, Nisha, I'm going to unmute your mic. Go ahead with your question. Nisha, can you hear me? Nisha? Hello?
Nisha having mic issues.
It looks like she's having an issue. Nisha, if you can hear me, go ahead and type the question in the chat and we'll address it from there. All right. Oh, she says mic issues. I'm sorry about that. I have a very noisy environment sometimes. While Misha goes ahead and types her question into the chat, I wanted you to just go over again, Keneshia, you emphasized the follow-up, and I think that it is something that is very, very important. A lot of persons really and truly do not follow up. I'll be at, well, as you said, I'll be at work and I get a lot of requests for photographers, videographers, event planning companies, all of these persons who are doing different ventures, and they will send an email to say, okay, I hear you are doing the expo. I would like to offer my services. And they send a fabulous presentation, but you never hear from them again. You never ever hear from them again. They just send the presentation and they leave it right there in the air. And you know how it gets when we are doing events. It's a busy, busy environment. So we're not gonna necessarily follow up with that request if it is not something that is required at the moment. So just emphasize follow up again for me, please.
All right, so Cynthia, it's so true, because that is how you know how hungry that person really is, or whether they're just sending out some blast emails and you got one and, you know, yeah, that's it. You know, you never hear from the person again. Now, if you went through the trouble of creating a proposal, a presentation, or even a pitch deck, whatever you call it, media kit or whatever it is, right? And you spent the time to sit down and, you know, create that, it probably would have taken days or weeks or whatever, how long it took you to pull it together, right? You probably went a next step by getting the attention of the person, and they ask you to send them samples or they ask you to send them a quote. And sometimes it ends there. You never ever follow up to say, all right, let me close this, or find out if they were happy with the quote. Chances are they probably went to somebody else who was hungrier than you. That person called every minute, they followed up. I may have some of them like I can't no fail. There's one supplier who keeps calling me every single month. It's almost like they schedule the call at a particular time every single month to find out, hey, Keneshia, I know last month you told me that you didn't have any need for printing services, but I was just checking with you again to see if, you know, you had something coming up. I appreciate that person, because them take the time to say, all right, you know what? Me go follow up every minute. And then guess what? When me have printing, me say, you know, so this person always call me every follow up. Maybe me need to call them and try them out or something. Or let me ask them to send me samples of which is what I did. And it turned out that the product, the quality was really good. It was one of the high well-known printers, small printing company, a startup. But the owner was just very hungry, you know?
Yeah.
And
hungry don't necessarily mean say you're hungry. Right. I just want to clarify that.
Exactly. Hungry for gaining a relationship with the client, hungry for just you know, ensuring that the business can continue or the relationship can continue, whatever it is, meaning that you want it to happen. That's what I mean.
Right. Right.
So it is very, very important that you follow up. And as I said, Sanseo, don't just take it for granted that you're going to remember to follow up. Actually
write it down, schedule it.
Schedule it. Like I have my notebook where every week I basically plan what my week will look like, right? The calls that I'm going to make, and I have my column for follow-ups, right? I'm following this client. I sent the quote, I didn't hear from them, what's happening? Or I sent something for approval and not hearing, and then I'll send a quick email. You've done it, tick off. You understand? Just do it, schedule it, and do not take it for granted. That is
I have 2 service providers that I got like that. One of them was a photographer. He timed it every month. Every month he would call. You're not doing anything. And he got to a point where you know how it is when JBDC has its expo. There are multiple presentations happening in different locations inside of the Pegasus, and we needed a 3rd photographer. And he was able to drop into that. And his picture quality was good. Same with a DJ that we had, that we used to use for our events. And every year, like clockwork, he would call just to say, hey, remember, I'm here. Just in case you're doing that event, I'm here. All right, so there's a question from Trevessa Da Silva. Any suggestions for best CRM programs?
As I said, there is a Jamaican company, CRMetry. Let me just type it in the chat. Let me find the link and type it in. It's a local company, but they offer CRM solutions from Salesforce. And Salesforce is one of the top customer relationship management softwares or programs or tools that exist in the world. So what they do have are a range of programs that fits your sector, it fits your industry, whether it's a service package or a product package. They have a range of options. And another cool one to check, just check Salesforce and you see the range of tools. And I know they are the certified supplier in the Caribbean. So you can perhaps give them a call. Let me try to Google and see if I can find, and I'll post it in, but that's a solution that you can use, or you can just get a consultation from them and do some research on your own to see what works best for your own business.
Yeah, and that's a point that you also emphasize the key to Keneshia, the importance of research. When you're doing marketing for your company, a very critical element is researching, because you have to know what is available and what works for the business that you're in. Also what works based on the level that you're at in business. So if you're starting up, there are some things that will work. If you're on a growth stage, there are things that will work. So it's very important that, you know, you do the research. University of Google is a great place. Great place that you can gain a lot of things.
Like, I don't know how people survive without research in this day and age. It just doesn't make sense to me. It has to be like every single time you get up and say you want to do something, you have to first, it should be a second nature to just say, you know what, let me do some further research on this. Research is second nature for everything you do. Just do some work on it. Find out what is happening, what is trending, what is popular, what is unacceptable, what is, and as Sanse said, University of Google works all the time. YouTube works all the time. How-to videos, all of that. We have a lot of resources now. In this day and age, we have a lot of resources, a lot of tools available. And if we don't have the information, it's not because it's not available, it's because we just didn't spend the time to do the research and to find out what can work for us. So make that be a part of your daily process. And as I said, ensure that it's second nature, that you're doing research for things that you need.
All right, fabulous. Okay, I see Kevar hand up, and Kevar, I'm gonna unmute your mic and you go ahead with your question. Kevar, can you hear me? Kevar, can you hear me?
Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Go ahead with your question.
Okay. Good morning, Kenisha. In regards to the question that I have sent, I am trying. As I suggested, I have a small business. It distributes gospel song for musicians across the world. I have a few songs from JCDC. So I'm trying to partner with JCDC because I specifically distribute gospel musician music. I don't distribute other music for other artists. So in this partnership, I've been trying to send them emails. So I've sent email to the executive director, and they have passed me on to the necessary person that should handle the that part for the decision. However, it has been a very long and tedious time, and it has not availed any result. So that's the reason. So I'm trying to find out what else can I do, because I don't know if there is a pitch, better pitch I can send, or if there is anything else I can do. You said I can drop in, and I think that is
Yeah, I
good.
think you said it already.
Um,
Don't send, go.
okay,
Um,
okay, okay.
I have a question for you, Kevar.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your product.
Well, it's a service. I normally, for gospel artists, in my research, it showed that gospel artists don't artists overall don't literally come from the highest economical level, and
Kevar,
I
stop.
would
Kevar, stop. Kevar, stop.
yes.
Kevar, tell me about your service.
Yes, so we normally we get the music from the gospel artists, and we normally distribute it to 48 various digital stores online. These digital stores is worldwide, and we also do the collection of royalties for the songs that we distribute. So we do both distribution and we do both collections.
All right, so Kevar, me did have to
Mm-hmm,
sift through a way yourself to understand what you do. And maybe that is what is happening. You now come across as clearly so people can
mm-hmm.
understand, grasp what it is. So like you're gonna lose people. As I say, 30 seconds. In 30 seconds, people need to understand exactly who you are and exactly what they need to do. Right?
Okay, okay.
Let's try that again. Tell me about your service.
So prime management, business and production. We have a digital distribution. We have online marketing and booking services to artists. We focuses on gospel artists. In addition, we distribute worldwide. We collect royalties for the artists that we distribute for. We also do the YouTube ID content, and therefore we collect both publishing and both neighboring royalty. Also, one of the royalty that is escaping from many persons are the synchronizing royalty, and we also collect that also, mechanical included. Currently, I
Stop,
have
stop,
over.
stop, Kivar. Perfect. So in the first couple of seconds, I understand that you do a digital distribution business and you do online marketing, right? For gospel musicians. That's all you need to say. Digital distribution, online marketing, royalties. A gospel artist, we need to know that because a lot of them have issues. So once you said the
Yes,
thing, you're solving a problem. Remember I said that. You are
yes,
solving a problem.
yes,
You know that not just gospel musicians, Jamaican artists on a whole, they don't understand that whole process. How do I do online distribution? How do I Tinder, collect my royalties? How do I get my music worldwide? Perfect. Perfect. Like you're solving a real problem. No, it is in how you communicate that that
okay,
will draw
okay,
people to you. So as I said
okay,
earlier, if you're not in a position to do it yourself, find somebody who can do it. Find a
understand.
salesperson, find a marketer, somebody who can say, hey, this is what I do. This is what we do, and this is how you can start, right? You have a wealthy company sitting on top of, like right now, I don't know what you charge or your rates, but it is wealthy in terms of what you provide. It's a real problem that our local musicians have. So what are you going to do with that, right? I'm not sure what your approach was, but here's a perfect opportunity for you to host a webinar or some kind of online event to say, hey, we do online distribution and we do online marketing and we help you collect royalties. Keep it simple. Don't try over explain. Don't try add too much fluff or excitement or keep it simple. You have a problem. Your problem is you don't know how to collect royalties. You don't know how to get your music around the world. You don't know how to get people to know about you or whatever it is. You don't know how to get your music distributed. We have a solution. This is my company. This is what we do. Find other experts in the industry who you can partner with. If you going to them is not working out, find a bigger platform. Social media. Everybody there home right now. I don't know for how long, right? You kind of missed an opportunity over the past few weeks, but it would have been a perfect opportunity for you to host an event online, because a lot of gospel artists were online over the past couple of weeks. Everybody are praying, everybody are sing, everybody are worship, everybody. Perfect opportunity, Kevar. So hopefully you can still get that opportunity back, but host an event. And as I said, if you can't do it yourself, find somebody who is confident and bold enough and can really sell it, right? And also, what is important, partnership as well would be interesting, right? How can you partner with a musician or a producer, music producer, or whoever it is, right? To maybe JBDC can help you. JBDC, you can help.
Maybe,
well,
not maybe.
I have been working with them.
For you to finish to tell it to come down. Make sure that you make contact with one of our business development officers. In fact,
yes, I have been working with them. I have been working with them. The problem is that
business development officer.
Mr. Looney. Mr. Looney.
Oh, Norman Looney.
Yeah. So he was the one that passed me on to the session. The problem is that I got a VTA grant sometime, but then I came to JBDC to do the business development. It took some time because the officer was really busy. So I'm still trying to get that sorted out. So yes, I am currently working with JBDC at the moment.
Can I give you a tip?
Yes.
Another tip: stop make excuse for who now have time or who busy. Find another way. If you now work, find one next week ever.
Well, that's true. That is true. That is true. I am a trained accountant. That is true.
Yeah, what's your background?
That is true. Accounting.
Accountants are like that. Them kind of want to stay in the back and count numbers. Find a marketer, find a salesperson. Otherwise, you're sitting on a wealth of a business, a wealth of opportunities, and it stays right there. Sounds good to me.
And that's true.
Need the help.
That's true.
To push forward.
All right. Thank you very much, Kevar.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
I see one more. I'm taking one more question from Romario. Romario, can you hear me? Romario, unmute. Okay, Romario. Hello? Romario? All right, it seems like Romario is having mic issues.
Hello?
Oh, yes, there you are. That's you, Romario?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, go ahead with your question.
I'm already here, and give me a sec. Hello?
Yes, go ahead with your question.
All right. The question is, I'm also a young entrepreneur. My business is in clothing. I do online sales, right? And within the time of the pandemic, I actually put my business on pause because I have a friend who actually operate a physical store itself. And she said that from the pandemic, the first week of the pandemic, her business have been a little bit slower than normal. I've put my business on pause for the past couple months. And from the first portion, well, it was on pause before because I went on vacation and I returned back within the 5th of March, and the pandemic was like 3 days after, 4 days after. And based on what she told me is that she haven't got much customers. The question is though, I haven't had much customers reach out to me, maybe like 5% customers reach out to me to get packages. And my way of reaching out to customers with my packages to ship them through Knotsford Express. You understand? The question is, do you think that I should still have the business in operation within the pandemic, knowing that I'm actually going to put myself out there as a risk factor to be in the whole situation of up and down with all these transactions and stuff, to go to Knotsford Express and whatever. My thing about it is that the reason why I've even put it on pause, because I feel like if I should continue, it's not making much.
Okay.
So I feel like I shouldn't continue. So I just started thinking of other ways and means of how to make money. So after that I came up with this little loan thing, and I made a little loan agreement, and I did my research online, and then I made a little loan agreement thing, and I started working with that.
Romari, I have a question for you.
Sure.
What was the name of your business again? Is a clothing business, online clothing business, you said?
Yes, it is. The name of the business is R&R Outfitters.
R&R Outfitters?
Yes, it is.
Romari, believe in your business?
Yes, I do.
Talk
It
to
has a high quality of strength.
Do you believe in the business?
Yes, I do. At first, I didn't. I honestly didn't at first when opening up, because when opening up, I started with around $700 US, and then I accumulate like $2,000, and then I started working from there. So when I checked my bank statement back then, it actually grows. It actually grows because at one point, the bank was even, they called me in to ask question about how I acquired these money. And I did state that because when I signed up with the account, it was in the account was for work purpose. But then they realized that I had accumulated maybe $500,000 over some months time period. So they had called me in to do the investigation as to why these amount of money had been deposited in my account. So the bank, the business actually do well, but the main problem is maybe because of the pandemic. The main reason why I even stopped, because I feel that when you check the grocery stores, there's a lot of long lines. And as my friend said,
Hold on. Romario, let me stop you right there. Because you're going to everybody else's business, you're not focused on your business. Or grocery store drop in your business. Romario, if you believe in your business and your business is profitable, don't give up.
Yeah, that's true.
The business is profitable, you said, right?
Yeah, it is.
Where is your market? How do you get products sold?
I get products, so I use social media. It's a social based business. I order from several ordering sites,
Mm-hmm.
and then they ship to Jamaica to my broker, and then I'll um collect them from there.
All right, so here's my suggestion, right? And I'm going to give you two suggestions. If you are confident that your business is profitable and it's worth it to continue, right? If you're not comfortable, if you're not confident, if you're not happy, if it's overwhelming for you, or if it feel like it's just too much for you and you're making a lot of excuses for it to continue, then don't do it. But what you're saying to me is that the business is profitable, so much so that the bank is questioning how you're getting your funds, right? So it means that you're earning from it. And I'm assuming that this new business that you're about to start, the loan business, is from profits you'd have made from that business, or no?
Yeah, it is. It
Ah,
is.
there you go. So you have enough money now for to start one loan bureau. No, just I know this pandemic has caused a lot of people to question um, the business and the value of the business, and whether it makes sense, or just all of this excuse and this that. And what you need to do is to just shift your perspective. You understand? Yes,
Yeah.
pandemic happen. Yes, we have problem, but we not gonna stay so forever, Romario. Like
Yeah.
it a go stop, Like it a go stop. So what do? Do you fold in, right? Or do you use this opportunity to re-strategize and restructure? You have to, if you believe in this business, you can't stop working on it, right? So yes, there's a pandemic. Yes, you're not in a position to be mobile or to go to the broker or to do this or to do that physically, because it compromises your safety and potentially the safety of your customers as well. Yes. So use the time now to sit down and continue to talk to your online people. You said you use social media. Use that time to engage your customers. Do some other things with them online. If there is an opportunity for them to still go pick up stuff, do that. But it sounds to me that you have a business that is profitable, and you gear up. You can't gear up, Sarah Mario. And also it
Yeah.
works.
A friend of mine, he was telling me about a friend of his that have a place somewhere in Kingston, and he was saying that if I want, he could get the place for me, and what they could do, what I could actually do is like put a yard sale. Like now, the time it's in the moment of pandemic. He was saying that I could use the mannequin, put the stuff them on them, the clothes on them, and have a yard sale.
You're going to
And
have a yard sale now in the pandemic?
It doesn't sound to me like Romano believes in his business at all.
So to me, neither Sansia.
Sounds so to me at all.
no,
Romario, if I might, there are clothing businesses right now that have done better business in the pandemic than they did before. I don't know if you heard about what happened with Target and
mhm.
Amazon. Those people are delivering things like crazy. And even locally, there's a company named Accessories that I follow on Facebook. And one day I said to myself, because I see them advertising some 10,000 and some 8,000 outfits, and I'm saying to myself, in this time of pandemic, I wonder if people really are buying them kind of
You would
things
be
when
very
food
surprised.
is needed. And they were. They were. She used her social media during the pandemic to keep contact with her customers. She have sales same way. She have her discount days same way. And she have days when she sell the products for the price where it worth. And she sells same way. So Romaria, you need to believe in what you're doing. I
Sansia,
don't get the feeling
I
that
want to,
Romaria believes in it.
let me pick up on a point that you made, Sansia. You see, a lot of persons saw the pandemic as an opportunity to stop or to give up or to just close shop or this, that. While A lot of persons saw it as an opportunity to thrive, right? And build empires. And let me tell you, the persons who saw it as an opportunity are the persons who will come out in the end better, right? And when I say it don't have to necessarily be even sales during the time, but just using the time to improve on what you have. Now, if your business, the nature of your business was an online business, whether we have pandemic or no pandemic, it door shouldn't lock because you're online anyway.
I can say something.
Go ahead, Ramon.
All right. In the old scenario, that's why I've said that even though I'd closed the door of the business, in the meanwhile, I'd think about something else to come forward with. And that's why I was saying, as example, when I look at supermarket, I know persons might be running out of cash. You understand?
No, I have no cash to pay about the
Romario, stop thinking for people. Stop thinking for people. World of people bored. Them they won't have nothing to do, and them can't go out, go shop. So what? Them prefer to shop online and make the goods come to them. Stop thinking for people. You see, you're making a lot of excuses. Oh, people not have no money because they will them buy food. But what if them have extra money?
That's true.
Like you have to take your mind out at that place. I wanted to.
But I even did a little survey with some of my high quality customers, and they were in the survey that I did and sent to them. Some of them, based on some of the response, persons are saying they don't feel like buying clothes because if they buy clothes,
to get new customers. What if it was an opportunity to get new customers? As Sansa said, there are a lot of companies who just use the opportunity to either sell back to people for what they purchased it for, or do sales, or do something. Do not be deterred by what you see. As an entrepreneur, a business owner, you can't fold. If you're folding, it means that you're not confident enough in what you're doing. You're not confident enough in your product. You're not confident enough in your business. And so you need to get back to a place now where you say, all right, then I started out with a passion for this, and go find back your passion, Romaria. It you need to find back. It lost, and maybe the pandemic. But
yes, Romaria, your passion lost.
Why you say Corona gone with it?
I went with your passion, but just find it back and don't feel like you can fold a business that was profitable. If in real life you really not make no money, or you really not see it as something that you can continue or start, then fine. But if not, just push through. It's okay. Corona is going to end. There is life after Corona. Whether we're here or not, it's going to continue.
It is. I believe it. It shall pass. I believe that too.
All right, thank you very much, Romario. I said it was the last question from Romario, but I see my friend Lisa Davis Farmer, so I'm going to allow Lisa to ask her question, and that will be the absolute last question because we have another session at 1 today. Lisa, I'm trying to unmute your mic. Can you unmute your mic, please?
Hi.
Very good. Hi, Lisa.
How are you? Thank you so much for taking my question and for doing this.
You're welcome. Go ahead with your question.
Right. So my business is, well, it's entitled The Craft People. That's my company name. And what I do is I make dolls of color and art. Specifically geared towards children of color, but anybody who appreciates that can benefit. Now, one of my struggles, I don't know if struggle is a good word, but one of the things that at the forefront is more like client retention, because as a doll maker, people might come to me when they're birthdays or something like that. So it's a very specific kind of a thing. So unless I offer like doll clothes or something like that, then I'm probably mostly in the acquisition phase most of the time. So how do you think, apart from doll clothes or so, how do you think that I could, boost my client retention? Because it's a tricky point for me, especially now. I am not surprised that people are still purchasing dolls, because of course, you know, life goes on and there are still birthdays and there are still things to celebrate. But I always have a lot of new clients and not necessarily too many repeat clients. Yes, I do sell coloring books as well, so maybe that helps with the repeat clients. But right.
So your current clients are who now?
They're generally females, mothers, between ages, say, 28 to maybe 65 or so.
How do you get your clients? Online or?
Yes, generally online. If I don't have any local functions, for example, doing, then it will be online. I have a website, I have my Instagram, I have Pinterest, which is actually doing very well for me, and I didn't even realize.
Lisa, can you mute the TV in your background, please?
Oh, sorry, just a moment.
All right, so while you do that, Lisa, all right, so it sounds to me that the product that you offer, I would call it a collector's item. And if, for example, you're limited to maybe a few types, I don't know, how many varieties you have for the product?
Well, I offer maybe about 5, but I do custom orders as well. So I have crochet dolls in various sizes, and I also have fabric dolls in various sizes. I have 4 titles for my coloring books, and I also offer illustrative services, and I do paintings and things like that.
All right, so when you get when you have your clients, right, and you get a new client, how is your follow-up with them?
Well, this is the trick part, I think, because I would only follow up if I am going to check on them if they have received a package, for example, if I mailed it to them, or, you know, something.
And after that, you just leave them?
Almost, because then I don't know if they would have any need for me to say anything more to them.
Well, it's a problem. So that's a problem. So I'm glad I asked the question. I'm happy I asked those questions because remember I said you have to have a system in place to communicate with your clients. So if, for example, you sent them the doll and you called to find out if they got the doll, are you sending them a monthly kind of message to say, hey, I hope this is that, we have these new products as well. Click here to learn more about the product or to add it to your bag or whatever it is, and blah, blah, blah. What are you doing, Lisa?
Right. So I am in the process of building my email list. Unfortunately, I think I took too long to do that. And I also realized that I cannot just capture people's email, for example, from Etsy sales or anything like that, because that's illegal. So I'm needing to find a very innovative way to ask people to opt in. I don't know how to do it just yet.
When you send it when you send the email to them, so say for example, they have a lot of email marketing programs. There's MadMe, there's Constant Contact, there is MailChimp, a lot of them. So basically,
yes, I have MailChimp.
Right. So you prepare the campaign, and I think a lot of those have them, they opt-in embedded in the program. So when you send the email to them to say, all right, then did you get your product or blah, 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 ask them to opt in for monthly newsletters. But if you ever ask them to opt in for monthly newsletter or monthly communication or further marketing or whatever it is, make sure you have something planned. You understand?
Right.
So right. You have nothing planned. But those are things that you actually need to plan. I mean, even as small businesses or whatever it is, just take the time. And as I said, if you don't have the skills yourself, find somebody who can assist you and pay them to do it. Ask them as a commission or ask them to do it as a low rate or just do it as a package or something. But find a way to get it. If you can do it, you're busy making dolls. So I'm thinking you're busy, too busy to do the marketing. Find somebody else who can do it for you, right? And pay them to do it. Tell them exactly what you want. Marketers usually have the ideas, and they come up with the scenarios to help you, the messaging, whatever it is. They will, if you find somebody who's a skilled marketer, they should be able to come up with different strategies, email marketing campaigns, social media campaigns, whatever it is. But just invest in that, Lisa. Invest
Yeah, I
in.
think that is my only other thing to do to help to grow my business further.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because I cannot just keep acquiring new customers. It takes a lot to acquire a single customer. But
Exactly.
yeah.
All right, thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
All right, so we have come to the end of our virtual biz zone for this morning. I want to thank you again, Keneshia, for coming and sharing with us some really practical marketing tips that our MSMEs can take to acquire and retain customers. And they were really, really practical tips. Just to remind the persons that the recording of this presentation will be available on our YouTube page, hopefully by later today or tomorrow. Just go on YouTube and follow JBDC Jamaica, and you'll be able to access the recording of today's presentation, as well as all the previous virtual biz zone presentations, the in-concert presentations, and the entrepreneur's journey. And also to remind you that at 1 p.m. we will be back to have the presentation for my fingerprint, my DNA design, and that is with Robert Hall, our fashion designer at the JBDC. So thank you again, everybody, and look forward to seeing you at 1 o'clock. Thank you again, Keneshia, for having joined us.
You're welcome. Thanks for the invitation. And
All right.
I learned something. Bye.
Bye.